You'll get $5. One for each child and two for yourself. That's what the lawyer said as his voice echoed through a marble foyer that felt more like a courtroom than a home. And just like that, my world caved in. I remember sitting there, my palms sweating, my breath catching while his sister, this woman with ice running through her veins, laughed loud enough for everyone to hear. $5. That was all my husband's family thought my children and I were worth. My name is Naomi Carter. I'm a widow, a mother of triplets, and for a long time I thought life had already dealt me its cruelest blow when my husband died in a car accident. But standing there with that ridiculous $5 bill in my hand being mocked by people who shared my kids' blood, yet looked at us like we were trash. Yeah, that was a different kind of death. I left that estate humiliated, clutching my purse like it could hold me together. Outside, the November wind cut through my coat, but it wasn't the cold that made me shake. It was rage. Rage that the man I loved, the father of my children, had supposedly left us with nothing. Rage that these people, who had never once helped me raise my kids, now claimed every part of his life as theirs. When I got home that night, my kids were waiting with little smiles, asking if I brought back anything from Grandma and Grandpa's. I swallowed hard and told them it was just boring adult business. How do you tell 7-year-olds that their family sees them as mistakes? How do you explain that you're losing the only home they've ever known? That night I cried in the kitchen after they went to bed. The bills on the counter blurred through my tears. Electric, water, rent due in 5 days. My bank account had just over $20. I whispered to myself, how am I going to do this? But then I found it. Hidden at the bottom of a shoebox, where my husband kept important papers, was a business card, a name scribbled on the back in his handwriting. If anything happens to me, call this number. Trust no one else. I froze. My husband had kept secrets, big ones apparently. I didn't call right away though. Who was I supposed to trust? The will had already been read. $5 was $5. But that note, it planted a seed. The next morning, December 15th, I dialed the number. Mrs. Carter, I've been expecting your call. That's what the man said. His name was Daniel Ross, a young attorney with tired eyes and a suit that had clearly seen better days. Within an hour, he was at my front door with a leather briefcase, and the moment he sat down in my living room, everything shifted. He opened the case, pulled out documents thicker than a Bible, and said words that didn't even register at first. Your husband didn't leave you $5. He left you everything. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It sounded insane. But Daniel slid photos, bank statements, property deeds across the table. My husband, the man who drove a beat-up Honda and bought clothes on clearance, had been quietly building an empire. He used my maiden name on everything, creating companies, buying properties, investing in startups. He was worth $45 million. Why, I whispered. Why wouldn't he tell me? Daniel's face softened. Because he knew his family would try to destroy you. He wanted you to have something they could never touch. He planned to tell you on your 10th anniversary. He didn't get the chance. I sat there stunned, my kids' laughter drifting from the other room while my whole reality tilted upside down. He showed me a letter written in my husband's hand. Naomi, if you're reading this, they tried to take everything. Don't let them. Fight back. For the first time since his death, I felt more than grief. I felt fire. We drove to a hidden estate he'd bought under my maiden name, a sprawling property on 12 acres, a house built like something out of a dream. And inside, hanging in the foyer, was a portrait of us, our family, painted just months before his death. My husband had planned for everything, but his family wasn't done. The very next morning, news vans parked outside my door. My face was on TV. Andrea, my sister-in-law, stood at a podium with crocodile tears, telling the world I was a gold digger who trapped her brother. They called me manipulative, unstable, unfit to raise my children. They even filed an emergency motion in court to freeze the inheritance and take custody of my kids. I thought I was strong, until I watched my children come home crying because classmates had repeated the lies they'd seen on the news. That nearly broke me. I told Daniel maybe I should give up, walk away from the money, let the family win, because I couldn't bear my kids suffering. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Your children are watching you right now. They're learning what it means to fight or fold. What are you going to teach them?" That's when something snapped. I wasn't going to let my children grow up believing lies about their father, about me, about themselves. So we walked into that courtroom with our heads held high. The Landrys had 3 top-tier lawyers, polished statements, glossy photos. They painted me as a predator, paraded family members to swear I'd isolated my husband. For an hour, I sat there as they ripped my character to shreds. Then it was our turn. Daniel called someone no one expected, Felix, their longtime attorney. The man walked to the stand, pale as a ghost, and admitted under oath that the will they'd read me was fake. Paid off. He had bank records, recordings, emails, and then the bombshell audio of Andrea herself saying, "Once we get the psychiatrist to declare her unfit, we'll take the kids. They belong with real family, not some ghetto trash who got lucky." The courtroom went dead silent. You could hear people gasp. Even the judge's jaw clenched. By the time the evidence was finished, their empire of lies collapsed. The judge not only confirmed my inheritance, but referred the entire family for criminal investigation, fraud, conspiracy, money laundering. Decades of crimes all about to come to light. When I walked out of that courthouse, reporters swarmed me. But this time, the questions weren't about me being a gold digger. They wanted to know how it felt to bring down one of the most powerful families in the state. I didn't gloat. I didn't shout. I just said I did what any mother would do. I protected my children. That night I stood on the terrace of my new home, watching my kids run across a yard bigger than any park we'd ever been to. For the first time in months, I felt peace. My husband may have been gone, but he had left me something far greater than money, proof that he trusted me to carry on, and a chance to raise our children free from those who tried to erase us. But here's the thing. Do you think I was right to fight tooth and nail, to take the battle public, to risk dragging my kids through more pain just to prove the truth? Or should I have walked away quietly, taken my babies and started fresh somewhere far from all of it? Because at the end of the day, justice feels sweet, but scars remain. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen families torn apart by greed, or people judged unfairly because of who they loved? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about what real justice looks like. And if this story made you feel something, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs a reminder that love is stronger than hate, and subscribe for more stories that reveal the battles people fight when no one's watching. Because sometimes the cruelest betrayal leads to the sweetest revenge.